Okay, ladies and gents, welcome back to part 10 of the RC Banjo build, which is the free plan out of the RC M&E magazine a couple of months ago. As you can see here now, the fuselage and the wing is really starting to take shape. I've been quite busy the last few days, or the last few nights. As you can see, I've finished planking the top area. That's all sort of sorted now. The wing is actually glued into place. I've cut the slots in the wings to accept the vertical stabiliser, put them on the centre line, which is quite an easy job with the scalpel. If you turn the model over, you'll see what I've done on the underside. All the bottom has now been finished planked, as you can see. Perhaps wants a bit of tidying up here and there on this radius with a bit of sandpaper when we're finally finished, but basically it's there. The hole in the bottom there is where we're going to make the hatch for the battery. So all that's sorted. I'm quite pleased with that. I'll just flip it back over the other way. I've also managed to finish the vertical stabiliser. As you can see, it's now been bandsawed out, leaving the tabs on to go into these slots that I've provided there. I've also hinged the rudder. It's not pinned and glued yet, but it's just there in position, as you can see. If you want to know how I go about hinging that, if you refer back to part 4 of the Banjo build, I go through that in part 4. So all that's left to do now is obviously glue the vertical tail plane into position like so. I've still got a tiny bit of work to do because I haven't got the radius quite right. As you can see, there's a gap there, so it means obviously just titivating it a little bit here and there to get that to bed into the top wing, because it is like a radius curve. So not a great deal to do, but you can see it's there. The next thing I want to do, I'll remove that. What I'm doing, I'm actually gluing that vertical stabiliser on last, because with me flipping the model backwards and forwards upside down, it just makes it a bit awkward to get on the bench. So I'll actually glue that later on. The next thing I want to do is to cut out the hatch there in the top face. This is to give access to the back of the motor, so when we screw the motor in the front aperture there, as you can see, I'll be able to get to the nuts on the rear face of the firewall to tighten it all up, and also get to the connections for the ESC, etc. So what we've got to do is cut where I've marked there for the hatch. The way I did that, I did it slightly different to how I've cut out the other parts by gluing the plan onto the balsa wood. What I've done is I've got the top plan that I've printed off, which I just basically laid that onto the top surface, lining it all up with the centre lines, etc. It's a bit tricky to do one-handed, but you get the idea. I'll lay it on the top, and then I used the old-fashioned carbon paper method to transfer the hatch onto the balsa wood. So I'll slip that underneath there, like so. Just held the plan in place. I didn't even bother taping it down, I just held it in place, something like that. Then I used these tracing tools that I bought off Amazon, set of 5 there. They actually came with the carbon paper that I bought. As you can see, they've got different radius balls on the end, but they're great for scribing through the plans. Just put a steel rule onto the plan, scribed round with this ball tool, this marking tool, and that then just transferred the marking through the other side. So all I've got to do is obviously use my scalpel blade and chop that hatch out and we're going to be away with a mixer there. So that's the next stage. So next time when you'll come back, hopefully that will be finished. The hatch on the underside, the battery hatch, will be finished, and also I think the vertical tail plane will be secured. Also, that should be glued in position, I think. I think that's the way I'm going to go around it. Then all that's left really is the installation of the radio gear, and finally the covering, etc., and setting up. So we're now getting sort of 80% there, I would say. Okay, thanks very much for watching this part 10. I hope you've enjoyed the series so far. If you have, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you've got any comments, obviously leave comments too. I always like to get a bit of feedback. So thanks very much for watching, and I hope you come back for part 11.